Well, I got a story of how that separated. So my dad and I bought my dad out, and we agreed to something in the end of 1993, and closed the deal beginning of 1994. But it wasn't a pretty situation. So my dad and I got to be, one of my goals in life was to be a kind of a stronger guy and be able to handle, a slap upside the head for my dad and smile back at him, right? Yeah. And so I worked out a little bit. I was getting into bodybuilding. I was a wrestler in high school, and so my dad and I started going at each other once in a while, and as I got to be 17, 18, 19, 20, and we get in shoving matches, and sometimes they'd turn into wrestling matches.
Oh,
and they weren't friendly sometimes, but either way, love my dad. But it came to a point in 1993 when we were on a job, and I had an embarrassing moment, right? I'll never forget the moment. But bottom line is, my dad got upset about how thick we were paving the asphalt. And on this is the biggest job I ever had in my life. This is a parking lot for a company in Richmond, Illinois. And it was the biggest job I ever had, probably $50,000, $60,000 job. For me, this was huge back then, right? And my dad was nervous we were going to lose money in this job because we shouldn't be doing this big work and on and on. So he got nervous. He came back and looked at the asphalt we were paving and thought we were going too thick. So he grabbed a shovel and started pulling asphalt off the surface of this area we paved.
Oh, no.
I said, Dad, you can't do that. Get away from that, right? He goes, it's too thick. We're going to lose in this job. So either way, bottom line is I asked him to get away from the mat. He's going to mess it up because we're just going to have a low point where he's going to hold water, right? Mm-hmm. And him and I got arguing and pushing. He got a little pushing and shoving, and he got swung at me and clipped the side of my head, and I wrestled him onto a trailer right next to where we were standing, and then. He started swinging a chain binder at me, and while we're wrestling, and hit me a couple times with the chain binder. It got this little wrestling match got broken up, and this is at 12:15 in the afternoon. In this new building in Richmond, Illinois. We're working alongside their cafeteria.
Oh my gosh! True stories here at CEO Ditch Digger.
No. So 12:15 in the afternoon. I look up after our foreman at the time, who became who actually bought this business from me eventually.
Yeah.
His name was Mike. Broke this up, and we look up and we look at this wall of glass, and it's their cafeteria, and there's 150 people standing up against the glass, looking at this UFC fight going on, right? But there was no UFC back then, right? But they were enjoying it just like there was.
You were the first one.
And it was really embarrassing. I looked at my dad and said, Dad, this will never happen again. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, Dad, this will never happen again. We will never be partners again after this year. I'm never going to have this this type of thing happen again. I want to be a professional organization. We won't be partners next year because either I'm buying you out or you're buying me out.
Yeah.
My dad looked at me and said, I ain't buying you out and you're not buying me out. So bottom line, it was a chore over the next 6 months to figure out how I can buy him out or how he can sell out to him. So I ended up arranging a deal after a bunch of conversations and even some lawyers at one point and some business valuation people. Ended up with a deal to start 1994. Where a 10-year deal to buy him out of his share.